From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, thank you very much, Joe Daniel. Always a pleasure on this fall, October 25th, 2017. Sports Scene is an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com. Twitter, at Greg Bick. And you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military for what you do 24/7. Hard to believe I've been here doing the show almost 4 years in December after I left Red Zebra. Of course, my company is GJB Productions and Marketing. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. We have a good one, Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, and Hampton Roads onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 locations in Virginia Beach. The overall show presented by HRSMHOF.com. Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame will make the announcement on November 9th of who the 5 winners are for the ceremony in 2018 at Langley Speedway. A lot going on. The World Series, Virginia Tech wins, UVA and Old Dominion lose. Old Dominion's really struggling. Big college game this Saturday on Fox, Penn State and Ohio State. Cowboys, Redskins, Sunday on Fox. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars and newcomers. Highlights coming up a little bit later. We'll ask Joe Daniel this question today. When you have an issue with someone, do you like to let it linger, or do you like to get it resolved right away? So we'll ask Joe Daniel that question a little bit later. Of course, have our business spotlight as well. Sports Scene will continue on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM, as well as tunein.com by typing in WHKT on the phone or the computer. Stay tuned live.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene right here on this October 25th. Let's get right to Jay Randolph. Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports. You got to love technology. How are you, Jay?
All right. Yeah, I don't know. My wife may have done something to the house phone. I don't know, but okay. I'm glad to be with you.
All right. Very good. Very good. Of course, Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports. Let's get right to it. The Dodgers are up 1-0 over the Astros. Anything surprise you last night?
The 2 hours and 28 minutes it took to play the game. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Kershaw doing
really
very
fabulous.
Well. Yes.
Really fabulous. Both pitchers. I mean, Keuchel made 2 mistakes and cost him 3 runs, and Kershaw was brilliant and had that strikeout pitch of his going, and he made 1 mistake, and that was it, 3-1, and a terrific start for the Dodgers, of course, and they're a tremendous team. I'm rooting for the Astros because their owner, Tom Crane, is a very good friend of mine. I don't know, a lot of people know he's a St. Louis guy and a wonderful man, but it should be very interesting. I think, of course, tonight Verlander might be able to turn the tables on them and they get out of there 1-1 after 2 games, but it should be a wonderful World Series.
Yeah, Verlander pitched right here in Norfolk, Virginia at Old Dominion University as we're talking to Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports. And I'm a traditionalist. I still remember the Astros when you called a lot of their games when you called the Cardinals in the National League. So I'm very much a purist. I'm not a big fan of this, but I guess that these still are the 2 best teams in baseball.
I don't think there's any question about it. Since we've gone to this playoff situation, it's been very interesting because it really is 2 seasons. You play 182 games, and then all of a sudden, you're in the playoffs, and it's a completely different situation. But there's no question, even though the Dodgers had that stretch where they just couldn't seem to do anything right, they they just played really remarkable baseball for the first 4 months, and the Astros have had a tremendous resurgence. Jeff Lunau, who used to be here with the Cardinals, of course, is running their front office and their operation. He's a brilliant guy, very much a numbers guy, and they're a good team. I'm looking forward to, maybe this will go 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, of course. The Dodgers, of course, on Fox tonight at 8:09 Eastern Time as they try to go 2-0 over the Astros, talking to Jay Randolph. And it's only, you've seen it firsthand with the Cardinals, you got to have good ownership, a good general manager, and a good manager for consistency. You saw that with La Russa. You saw that with Whitey Herzog. That has not been the case for the Nationals. They've had a consistent general manager, but nothing else has been consistent. The owners like to change every few years. Dusty Baker, true, did not get them over the hump, but he's still a solid manager, and it's hard to get anything done in 1 or 2 years. One of my friends yesterday made a good point. They change managers more than most losing teams and bad teams do. It just doesn't make sense.
It's like the National Hockey League.
Yeah. Yeah, they fire him in the season, though.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
Washington is, of course, a team I grew up with back in the old days of the Senators, and I used to root for them. Mickey Vernon playing first base, and a wonderful Roy Sievers, who was a great ball player. But they've been through a lot of ups and downs in Washington, and it is true they can't seem to get themselves to a point where they can remain a solid team and a winning team for more than a couple of years. And I think obviously they've been a bit of a disappointment. Certainly, it's, I guess, it's that old story, you can't fire the players, and they felt a change needed. Dusty's a great baseball guy. I don't know that they felt he was relating to this young team as well as maybe he might, but we'll see what happens. But they've got a lot of talent there.
They need to let this Harper kid, sure, he's got a lot of talent. He's also very injury prone. He's not the manager. I mean, nobody cares what he has to say. You remember back in the day, Jay, kids are seen and not heard. I mean, it should be up to the owner, the manager, and the general manager, not these players making so many demands, especially these prima donnas in the NFL that kneel during the national anthem. They're lucky they're paid what they are. In my opinion, they should fall what the golfers and tennis players and NASCAR drivers do. They don't get a salary. They get paid based on performance.
Well, you'd have a heck of a battle trying to work that out with their union situations today.
Well, I know.
I do think you're going to see over the next decade salaries regress in both football and baseball because it's obvious to me that there's not enough money out there to carry these television deals much beyond that. And it is kind of sad too, the social media situation. I'm appalled by some of the things that happen, and I'm old school. I don't have a computer. I don't have whatever it is that you need to tweet or twit or whatever, and all of this other stuff, all of the the Facebook and everything else. I love to watch the games, and I love doing the games. And in my day and time, the game was the game. Now there's so much garbage surrounding it that it's kind of crazy.
But he's got a great voice. He worked for NBC Sports for decades with Marv Albert and Dick Enberg and Bob Costas as well, called NFL football. Of course, Major League Baseball, bowling, the Olympics, too, as well. And you have an interesting story. I work with Chris Ohlmeyer, who's a producer, but his father was a legendary Don Ohlmeyer. Tell us about the story you work with Don Ohlmeyer. Of course, Don recently passed away. Well, of course, and Chris is a wonderful guy. When Ohlmeyer came to NBC, he had been over at ABC, and he was right off obviously new blood in the situation at NBC Sports. He took over and really did some unusual
programming. I remember one of the things he did, he had an announcerless football game in Miami one year, no announcers. And he had a show called The Games People Play that I did a couple of segments for, that we jumped a car off a ski jump in Colorado and had a tug of war between the AFL-CIO and the mine workers in Detroit, things like that. And he was really a brilliant guy, Notre Dame graduate, very hard worker, very innovative, and came up with the backing of Roone Arledge behind him, of course, at ABC, and was involved in Monday Night Football for many years. But shortly after Don came to NBC, we were doing the LPGA Championship at Kings Island in Cincinnati, and he was there, and Donna Capone was the defending champion, and she'd been playing some great golf, although she'd gone through a very, very tough divorce. Her husband had run off with a lot of her money and had markers in Las Vegas, and it was, a pretty big story, a sidebar to her play. But to make a long story short, excuse me, she won the tournament, and it was my job to interview her at the 18th green. Big crowd, and a wonderful win for her. And I started the interview, and in my earpiece, Olmeyer said, "Jay, ask her about the divorce." And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I went right by it, and I kept talking to her about birdie she had made at 16 and how she had played the 18th, a par 5 downhill with water. And he said, "Jay, ask her about the divorce." So I said, "Well, of course, you've been through a very tough time. It's a great victory here for you, but I know personally you've had your hands full. How's that going?" She said, "Well, I don't want to talk about that. Everything is what it is, and I'm just happy to win here." Well, she let me off the hook, of course. But after we got off the air, I went to the truck, which was parked, about 100 yards from the 18th green, and I went up into the truck and I said, "Don, you were wrong to ask me to talk to her about this divorce and all of the stuff that's been swirling around it. This was not the time to do it. It was a time to revel in her great victory and winning the LPGA Championship 2 years in a row." He said, "Don't forget, we're in the news business." And I walked out of the truck, and I thought to myself, boy, I guess I'm in a lot of trouble. But I had to tell him I thought he was wrong. About 10 days later, I got a note from him in the mail apologizing and saying that I was right and he was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I always admired that in him, and he and I got along very well. He loved golf and did a lot of golf with us, of course, but Olmeyer was a brilliant guy, died much too young, and I know Chris and his family. He was a real force in the sports world.
We're talking to Jay Randolph right here on Sports Scene, 1650 AM, of course, 92.5 FM, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen to your phone or your computer. Greg Bick on Twitter. Talking to legendary Jay Randolph, who worked at NBC Sports. And you're exactly right. And you've had a lot more experience at that time than he did in broadcasting, even though he was a young up-and-comer leaving ABC to go to NBC. And that's my only problem with producers. They're not talent. They see it from their point of view, but talent has a better instinct with the interviewee when they're on the air, live on the air, seeing their body language, what their disposition is after their how they're performing. And producers, they do add a lot of insight, but talent is not their specialty, in my opinion.
Well, and certainly when you're involved in a live broadcast, you've got to, as a producer, have the confidence that your announcer is going to handle things correctly. We all make mistakes, and on both sides of the microphone, of course, but I admired Don very much. He was a guy who would try about anything. He was really a tremendously hard worker, and I enjoyed the time that I worked at NBC when he was in charge there.
Right. He also worked for ABC, really a legendary producer. Like you said, may his memory be eternal. His son Chris has done a very good job as well. Before we get to sideline reporters, are you and your wife watching mostly CNN and Fox these days, or you're watching sports these days? Because every time you tune CNN on or Fox, they're having a roundtable of people, either Republican or Democratic, just ganging up on each other and arguing. It just becomes dramatic TV. It's very hard to watch, especially during this political season.
And half of the time you don't know who these people are. I mean, it really is, with the social media and with all of the different outlets and the bloggers and everything, it's... I tell you the truth, I watch, there's one guy that I watch, in fact, I had turned him on this morning. I watch Calvin Cowherd on Fox a good deal. I enjoy him, and he has some terrific guests. I watch PBS, I watch CNBC, and I watch a lot of documentaries. I've been fascinated by Ken Burns' Vietnam War series that has been running on PBS. And once in a while I'll find something that I like to watch on the History Channel or the National Geographic. But and I watch a tremendous amount of baseball during the regular season. I have the MLB package, but it's changed a great deal, Greg, no question about it, the way we cover things now. And it's a little like pork chops smothered in pork chops. I just wish we could kind of get rid of all of the glitzy and, to me, unbelievable stories that don't really have anything to do with the game.
Right.
I don't know, but
it seems like the sideline reporters, other than an injury, I really don't care, or breaking news, what they have to say. It just seems like all the play-by-play guys go to them in vain, Jay.
Well, and they're told to go to them. You know, that's the producer will say, whoever the sideline reporter is he or she has something to say, and quite often it's very negligible as to how important it is. Again, they've these pregame shows that are 2 hours long with just a raft of people involved in them. To me, and obviously those shows are on the air because they're selling them, and as long as they can sell them, I guess they'll be on the air. As far as the games and breaking in with people down on the field, one of the things that really upsets me, every time one of these people is thrown to, and whatever they have to say, they are finished, and the play-by-play guy says, "Thank you very much." Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't need to thank them very much. That's their job.
Right.
You know, nobody's going to come on the air and say to me at the end of a broadcast, "Thank you very much, Jay." Mm-hmm. I get very ruffled at the fact that apparently the play-by-play guy has been told to thank these people for doing a job that they're supposed to do, and there's no need to thank them. That's what they're getting paid for.
Oh, I agree. All I see is giggling and carrying on, and really they're not adding much to it. I'll tell you where it's valuable is golf. Golf is really good for sideline reporters because the spectrum in the field is so big.
Oh, no question about it. It's always been that way. And I have a number of fellows that are working today that started with me way back, like Roger Maltby, and it's wonderful the way. Of course, golf is a different situation. It's an individual sport, and it's very tough to cover because you're dealing with 200 acres and cameras all over the place, and it's very tough. I'm a great believer that both CBS and NBC do an excellent job on golf. Tommy Roy, the producer of NBC's golf, started with us as a runner in Tucson, Arizona. His dad was a golf pro, and Tommy, to me, has taken golf coverage along with Tommy Randolph, who is no relation to me, who played golf at UCLA. Those two guys have taken and whipped together a tremendous group of people that do their golf, and they do a fabulous job. It's wonderful to see golf get to this point, because in my day, the Masters wasn't even on Thursday and Friday, and you never saw the front nine.
Right. We're talking to Jay Randolph, who's worked with some legendary producers and directors like Ted Nathanson, Tommy, of course, Roy, Harry Coyle, Michael Wiseman, Larry Cirillo. Larry Cirillo was an excellent golf producer.
He really was, and a wonderful football producer as well.
Yes. Well, when you talk about broadcasting today, you talk about people evolving, and I know you're still involved yourself. Of course, you were the voice of the Cardinals, the Reds, the Marlins. Was it your choice at that time to leave NBC? Could you still do golf if you wanted to today? And what is your thoughts about network television?
Well, I don't know whether I could still. I still could do golf, certainly, and I love to do it. The last golf I did was for CNBC when they got that package and had it for a couple of years, and Bill Bolster, who had been my boss here in St. Louis, took over in New York and created CNBC and WNBC up there. And but I not getting around too well after 3 back operations and a new hip, but I still think I could do golf. I often tell friends that ask me, I think maybe we talk a little too much on golf today. I'm reminded of my great late friend Henry Longhurst, who recently was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Longhurst told me in 1968 at the Masters, and I was working that tournament when Bob Golby won. It looked like we were going to have a playoff with DiVincenzo, but he signed an incorrect scorecard and Golby won. But I was talking with Henry at lunch, and Henry liked his gin. He'd usually have a gin in the morning and then a couple at lunch. But I was asked by him if I was nervous about doing my first Masters. And I said I sure was. I'm really excited, and what a great opportunity. And I was working, of course, for the legendary Frank Cherkinian, who really invented golf on television. And I said, yeah, I'm terribly excited. Well, he said, just remember, old boy, punctuate the pictures.
Yeah.
Best advice I guess I ever had as far as golf goes, because certainly golf right now is in a remarkable renaissance worldwide. These 20-something guys like Spieth and Thomas, just remarkable, and their way they can come out of college. And in the old days, you came out of college and went on the tour, and it took you a couple of years to just get used to the travel and get used to the stress of playing. Now they come out and they shoot 66 in the opening round and win the tournament by 5 shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking to Jay Randolph, who I thought worked with some of the best NBC broadcasters in golf, and Lee Trevino and Bob Golby and Charlie Jones. You had a really great crew back then. And back to the sideline reporters, I think a lot of them could go on YouTube and watch how good Bill Fleming was and Jim Lampley and learn a lot from sideline reporting. But you had a great crew as well, whether it was golf or football, and you did some games as well, Bob Gracie with the Dolphins too.
Bob was one of my analysts for many, many years. I had the pleasure of working with Kyle Rote in football for a while. Just so many people in all of the sports. I was fortunate. One of my tasks at NBC, somebody figured out that I had, I guess, the demeanor to teach the guys that were coming in. And I remember Bill Walsh. I worked with him for a couple of months before they put him on the air. And I've been very fortunate. I was with the network for, well, when you put all the years together, about 24 years, and it was wonderful. And I miss it, but I'm 83 years old now, and Greg, people aren't calling to hire 83-year-old sportscasters these days.
Well,
you know that.
Well, you work with the legendary Jack Buck, the late Jack Buck. What do you
yeah.
do? You run into Joe much? What are your thoughts on Joe as a broadcaster compared to his father?
Well, there's no way to really compare them because their approach is a little different. Jack was a remarkable play-by-play man. He was also a terrific interviewer. He was one of the most well-read individuals that I ever had the opportunity to work with. He had a great sense of humor, a golden heart, loved people, and Joe, on the other hand, is a terrific play-by-play guy, and he's done a wonderful job. I note that he's up for the Frick Award along with Bob Costas and Al Michaels. That will be decided, I guess, in September. But and Joe certainly will win the Frick Award. I don't know if he'll win it this year. I think Costas should win it. But certainly they're different. But Joe learned a great deal by watching and working with his dad. And if you want to get an insight, Joe wrote a book last year that has been pretty well documented about his growing up with his father and how it all went, and it's a very interesting book. But I think today we had, when I started doing baseball, we had 3 or 4 cameras on a game. They must have 37 or 40 at out at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, and just as it's amazing, when you stop and think that Sam Snead won 82 golf tournaments and never won $1 million in his career, and now Spieth or Thomas win a tournament, and they've won $1.6 million in 1 week.
I know. Well, Jay, thank you so much for your time, your talent, and your treasure for being on the show today on Sports Scene. Always look forward to talking to you, and enjoy the rest of your day and continued health to you and your wife and family.
Well, thank you. I have fond memories of your part of the country. I used to spend a lot of time down on the James River, and of course at Williamsburg, where we did the Anheuser-Busch tournament for so many years, and had a great many friends in Richmond. I love the state of Virginia, and it's nice to have an opportunity to talk to your listeners.
Right, we used to have a great crab feast, as you remember, after the compound. There was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right, my friend, stay well, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Greg. Good luck.
Thank you. My pleasure. Jay Randolph, legendary NBC sports broadcaster, right here on Sports Scene. We'll be back after this.
It'll be decided on the court. I'm Dave Johnson with the Washington Wizards Shoot-Around Report. Wizards with Lakers tonight. Lakers with talented rookie point guard Lonzo Ball. His dad, LeVar Ball, pretty much guaranteeing a win tonight for the Lakers over the Wizards, with Marcin Gortat responding that John Wall will torture Lonzo Ball for 48 minutes.
He's still a rookie in this league, so it's not like I'm hating on this guy. It's just about his father making dumb comments, towards our team. So, it's not only him. Everybody has a tough job against John Wall in this league because he's the best player in the league. Bottom line is, I don't think that's a genius what he's doing. Obviously he got a little bit hype about his son, and people put a microphone right in front of his face, so that's why he's talking. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's doing any good to his kid, because at the end of the day, people are just going to wait for him, and because of his comments, his kid is going to, have a tougher job in a game.
And the Wizards will try to make it tough on the Lakers tonight. Coverage starts at 10:15 on the WGL Washington Wizards Radio Network.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
All right, GJBTV.com for archive shows. Click the YouTube link as well. When you have an issue with someone, Joe Daniel, this is the question presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Do you let it linger, or do you like to get it resolved right away?
I guess it depends on the issue. I mean, if it's a really personal issue that needs to be resolved, absolutely confront the person, let them know, this is how it made me feel, that I feel statement. I feel this way. I would appreciate if you did things differently. But oftentimes, I don't sweat the small stuff at all. I'm really easygoing. So I just don't let things really bother me. So I just like, hey, it wasn't even that big a deal. I wouldn't even bring it up.
That's all presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Lunch, dinner, of course, apps, mozzarella sticks, salads, boneless, traditional, wings, burgers, wraps, sandwiches, tenders, macs. They have it all. Beverages, desserts, a kids menu, games on TV, wings, beer, sports. Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News, right there by Patrick Henry Mall. Give them a call at 249-3999 at 12150 Jefferson Avenue as well. I want to thank Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports, right here. Save the date each Wednesday for Sports Scene from 12 to 1. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark it. GJBTV.com, HRSMHOF.com, and as we mentioned, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. High school football playoffs around the corner in a few weeks. NFL heating up. College football, NBA, NHL, and World Series all at once. The Dodgers lead the Astros 1-0. They're playing 8:09 tonight on Fox as well. So also I want to thank our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean. They deliver catering. Take advantage of a rapid pickup option. Soups, sandwiches, salads, bagels, bread, smoothies, breakfast sandwiches, cookies, desserts. They have it all. Refreshing beverages. Go by and see Brian and the staff. PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be. Right there at 6255 College Drive. And their phone number is 483-3670. Excellent. Again, PaneraBread.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studios.
Joe Daniel, you gotta love this bumper music. This is the authentic Planet of the Apes soundtrack from their TV show.
Yeah, I saw that. I've never seen the TV shows, but you two were telling me that they were fantastic.
Excellent. The music right here, the score is unbelievable, and you know how important audio is as well. So this is excellent with Halloween coming up.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
Yes, we'll switch gears to chocolate. Let's welcome Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate. Brenda, how are you?
Hey, Greg, I'm great. How are you today?
Very good. Pretty weather and 6 days before Halloween.
I know. It's crazy. I just heard something on the radio today. Somebody commented that 2 months from today is Christmas. Is that wild? I mean,
Yes.
It's absolutely crazy.
I'm not even thinking about Christmas yet.
I'm not either. I'm thinking about Halloween, though.
Yeah, what you got in the store?
We have so many fun things in the store. We have a huge pumpkin tarantula. We make him out of pumpkin fudge and chocolate. He's got legs and a face. He's adorable. We've got, of course, the pumpkin apples and pumpkin muffins. Hey, we have a great special this week. I almost forgot. 2 for 1 on our caramel-covered apples. Just the caramel, not the ones with chocolate, but 2 for 1 through Sunday. So that's a pretty good deal. People love the caramel apples this time of year. So that's through Sunday, 2 for 1 on the caramel apples. And Saturday is the Town and Treat. I don't know if you've ever heard much about it or had a chance to attend, but what a wonderful afternoon for families. Kids dress up in their costume. The theme this year is superheroes, but kids are superheroes no matter what they're wearing. And we've got some pumpkin patch. There's a circus show. There's street performers. And, of course, they can go in and out of a number of the stores and get candy with their little trick-or-treat bags and the whole thing. Just great fun, safe environment, family-oriented, just a wonderful day. And it's from 12 to 4 this Saturday, all free.
Tell the public how long you've been open.
We have been open. This December is 11 years.
That's quite a while.
I was just a child when we started.
Yes, of course. You and Terry both. But really, there's something for everyone. Tell us where you're located at. There's something always going on where you're at, too.
There's always something going on, especially this time of year. People really need to pay attention to, like, our Facebook page and our Instagram page as well for the things that are happening. But we're at 164 Central Park Avenue, and we are in the Virginia Beach Town Center. Yeah, we've been there 11 years, and we're going strong and moving into a really, really busy season for us. We do ship gifts all over the country, and we just started shipping again because the weather's cooled down, so we're able to ship. We deliver locally all year long, but when you're thinking about holiday gifts, we are the place.
Yeah, I think once November rolls around, you'll be consistent with the cold weather, but it's been very erratic. I mean, look at the weather. It's the last few weekends has been very warm.
Very warm, very warm. So we have to be careful with that, but we feel pretty comfortable. We usually around the 1st of November, begin to ship again, and we have shipped a couple things. So we have to be careful with it, but here we are again. It's hard to believe, but like you said, Halloween's right around the corner, Tuesday night, and Saturday's a lot of festivities. If you're going to a party, we have pumpkin-flavored truffles. We have all kind of beautiful chocolates. You can take a great hostess gift. If you're having a party yourself, we can slice up apples for you, instant dessert.
Yeah, theroyalchocolate.com, folks. Their phone number is 557-6925. And really, I guess whoever does your social media and websites, that's like a full-time job for you, isn't it?
Well, it is. You know what? It is. It's important, too, because you have to be able to let people know what you're doing and what's happening. And I do some of it, but I have help with it because I'm not as tech savvy as I could be, I suppose, but also, you need somebody on top of it all the time. It is a section of the pie that really has to be, well taken care of. So, I absolutely have hired somebody for that.
Right. You're open 7 days a week, and, of course, there's something for everyone there.
Something for everyone. We're open 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday, and we are open 12 to 5 every Sunday. And, of course, as the season progresses, we'll have some things like, Silver Saturdays and lots of events in the store. The first Saturday of every month, we do from 11 to 2 a drop-in style make-your-own chocolate bar. Kids are really enjoying that. So, we've been very busy. Lots of kids' birthday parties this time of year for some reason, too.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Oh, well, tell the public out there for the first time, for somebody going to your nice store, what they expect to see.
Well, the first thing they expect is a wonderful smell of chocolate. It's so funny. People that haven't been in the store before will just stop in their tracks when they come in the door, and they'll go, oh, it smells so wonderful in here, because we make a lot of chocolate. So we have that fresh chocolate, the temperers of chocolate turning all the time, and we're making products where we've got caramel going, and we're dipping apples, and we've got, dipping them in nuts and just coconut and marshmallows and all kinds of toppings. So what they see when they walk in really is where we make a lot of our products right out front, so you can see what we're doing. And then you'll see cases of chocolates that we've made in the store. You'll see our beautiful display of gourmet apples. You'll see samples. You can always tell the people that have been in before. They come in, hi, how are you, and head straight for the samples.
Hey, very
so
good.
You kind of know. They know their way around.
And once you go ahead. Once you get past Halloween, you got Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thanksgiving, and then, of course, obviously, the Christmas season's going to be here quickly. We do a lot of corporate gifting as well, so people really are starting corporately to think about, their gifting, and we certainly can really help with that. We kind of like to think of ourselves as the easy button when it comes to gifting.
Very good. All right, folks, you heard from Brenda Tusing. Brenda, have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you in
Greg.
November and December.
Okay, happy Halloween.
You too. All right, theroyalchocolate.com, folks, theroyalchocolate.com. As well, I want to thank Craft Burger Bar at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Appetizers like Kraft Chili and Fried House Pickles. Yum. Wagyu burgers, Coronado, the Greek, the Pepper, the Shroom Sunrise, excellent toppings, the Carolina Snap Dogs, chicken sandwiches if you want, salads, vegan burgers, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings. You got to go by there, folks. Brand new, exciting, the Craft Burger Bar. Jamie and the staff have got it going on at a great place right there at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Like them on Facebook at Craft Burger Bar VB. Excellent place as well. We'd also like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, listening to today's broadcast of Sports Scene in 175 countries on TuneIn.com. All you have to do is go to TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Thanks for all that you do, and we're hoping you're enjoying today's version of Sports Scene. It's lunchtime. A reminder to go to Sakura Japanese Restaurant right there in Chesapeake. Give them a call at 410-4577 right by the Walmart Way Crossing at 1437 Sam's Drive. Excellent Japanese restaurant, sushi bar, takeout, dine-in. Go by and see Jasmine and the great staff at Sakura Japanese Restaurant. We'll take a short break. We'll be back after this.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
6 days away, Joe Daniel, from Halloween, of course. Also want to thank all the great feedback I've had on Sports Scene. Don't forget to go to gjbtv.com, go to the contact section to get a hold of me as well. And one of my listeners messaged me on Messenger and said about the Admirals report. Well, you need to call them, folks, 640-1212. Still shocked that the Admirals are not doing a radio play-by-play broadcast this year. They've had great broadcasting over the years with the Admirals. I think that's a big loss. They're not doing radio play-by-play, but go figure. That's just the age we live in. I never was really involved in it. The only thing I did with the Admirals was the Admirals report here on this station. They were on this station a few years ago. I think every sports team needs to be on radio or TV and websites. Let me just tell you why. I work for Fox. I'm a stage manager for Fox on all their sporting events. I'm not talking about the local Fox, the national TV Fox. And it all caters to TV times. They're not worried about whether you watch it on your phone or your computer. They like that. That's added value. It's all times are dictated on one word: television, television, television. That'll always be the king. Also want to thank CP Shuckers, locals tradition, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue, delicious food, great apps, steak bites, sandwiches, burger specials, all the games on TV. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon, and for more, log on to cpshuckers.com. Of course, next Wednesday, Sports Scene will continue, first day of the month, every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Greg Bick on Twitter as well. Archive shows, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link. And also our good friends at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville, Mike and the staff have a spacious, nice dining area, great bar, lunch and dinner daily, burgers, steaks, soup, salads, appetizers, seafood, pasta, chicken, they have it all, ribs, chops, appetizers, desserts, beverages, dine in, carry out at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. Stay tuned.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. On Blueberry Hill.
And may his memory be eternal. The legendary Fats Domino passing away, dedicating this segment to him as well. And our good friends at Little Tokyo Buffet, Hibachi, Noodle Soup Bar, Sushi Bar, and Buffet Bar right there in Hampton, Virginia at 49 West Mercury Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. Give them a call at 325-8286 for Little Tokyo Buffet. Great place to dine as well. Let's get to what tees me off.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And Joe Daniel, I want to tell you, my friend, thank you for all the great work you do as well each week on Sports Scene.
Always a pleasure.
You are the man. Don't forget, in 2 weeks, we'll have Stratford Today. They'll be back. They're on once a month from 1 to 2 right here after Sports Scene, once a month. All right, what tees me off? When you go to a bathroom or even your own bathroom and you see that soap bottle, when you squeeze it, it shoots the soap in several different directions.
There's that little crusty part on the inside, and it just rockets everywhere.
It just doesn't go right into your hand sometimes. It
No.
just shoots everywhere. All right. How about this? What else teased me off? Being somewhere you don't want to be.
Yeah. Was there a certain place or example or anything like that?
Just anywhere. Usually just meetings mostly.
Or getting invited to often like mixers or parties or something like that. And it's just kind of, it's always an awkward scenario to be in there. And then sometimes you just really don't want to be there.
You always look for the exit doors too.
Yeah, you're standing as close to the exit as you can to
Right.
be the first
It's
one
not
out.
about the weddings or the parties. It's about who you're sitting next to. You can't control that.
That's huge. Being next to the right people can completely change an atmosphere. It
Right.
could start off horrible, but as soon as you meet that familiar face, everything just completely
Because you're all
changes.
friends with the bride and groom, but not necessarily friends with the people that are there.
Right.
Or socialize with them at all. Social small talk. How about this? Automatic water dispensers that are slow. You see when you go out, and the water rarely comes out when it's supposed to. It just, or doesn't even come out.
Right.
Well, you have to put your hand underneath it.
Yeah. I had it where my work was one of those sensors. And so for years I worked at this company, and then every other bathroom that I ever went to, I always put my hand under it. No, and I saw the handle on top of the faucet, but it just never registered. I just always stick my hand under it and just like rub my hands waiting for it.
What else teased me off? Sitting through a movie that you realize at the beginning when you get there, you picked a bad movie. That's really bad.
Yes.
Like you want your money back, but you can't do it.
You want to walk out, but you're just like, do I really want to come out $10 and not even watch the movie?
Well, sometimes you just tell them it's too hot or too cold. That's true. How about this neighbors drama? That's never good. When there's leaves all over that spill to your yard, or the trees, or cars parked where they're not supposed to be as well. I want to thank our great guest today, the elite broadcaster Jay Randolph, formerly of NBC Sports, as well as Brenda Tusing. I want to thank all of our great sponsors as well. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. We have got Wark and Denby on Cox Cable 47 this Friday. For more, go to nnpstv.com. At Greg Bick on Twitter. Interact with me 24/7, GREGBIC. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.